Did you know that about 2/3 of the soups sold are purchased during the colder months between September and March? Makes sense. I mean, there's just something about a warm bowl that makes you feel all comfy cozy inside. Amy's Kitchen packs the sumptuous soup with so many vegetables, you'd think it was homemade. How do they do it? Check it out. Whether it's cold outside or you're under the weather, a bowl of hearty soup is just what the doctor ordered.
It's a perfect winter food. It always is a comforting treat that instantly makes you feel better.
Americans sip more than 10 billion bowls of soup every year. To keep up the pace, Amy's Kitchen in White City, Oregon serves up more than 25 different soups, including one of its most popular, hearty French country vegetable. Like the name says, the recipe comes directly from France.
The inspiration for this French country soup comes from Fred Scarpula's uncle. Fred runs our kitchen. His uncle teaches cooking classes in France, and this is one of his soups. This soup is very much like a homemade soup. We use fresh, organic ingredients that are picked as fresh as possible.
And that's how the soup starts, with fresh veggies like onions and mushrooms that tumble into 2 different slicers.
This year, Amy's will use about 15 million pounds of our onions and about 2 million pounds of mushrooms.
While the onions get diced, mushrooms get chopped into chunks because the thicker the chunk, the heartier the soup. Next up, the broth.
In this 500-gallon kettle, we're making the broth. So far, we've added onions, garlic, extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper, and red bell peppers.
Talk about a huge pot. This one will brew up 3,000 pounds of broth. To finish it off, 1,000 pounds of diced tomatoes pour in. When the broth's done cooking, it's time for a taste test.
I think it's very good today. It is approved.
In another part of the factory, red rice mixes with more vegetables, including navy beans and zucchini.
People would be really surprised to know the amount of vegetables that go into this product.
Now it's time for all the ingredients to come together.
And we make sure that everything's added at the appropriate time so that all the flavors come out and everything stands on its own but all go together.
First up, the mushrooms.
Then we drop a mixture of rice and beans and zucchini, and then our broth goes on top of that. By adding them separately, they retain some of their texture and their appearance. If we did boil these together with the broth, they would end up mushy and slimy and with very little texture.
After the can seal, they travel to a giant pressure cooker.
Our can will cook for an additional 40 minutes, and it thickens the soup so that you have a really nice, hearty soup with good textured rice.
Amy's dishes out 50 million cans of hearty soups every year. That means there will always be enough of this cozy comfort food to go around.